What's going on, guys? This is gonna be a little bit of a different video today because I'll take you along with what I've been doing all day today.
Here to pick up some bands for my boy Raza over here. You know what they say, bands will make her dance. Thank you, sir.
We are gonna do a Q&A, and along the way, I'll let you see kind of what I get up to in my day-to-day that's not fitness related.
Did you get a perm? Nice, love that. Zoom in on the perm, there we go. Are you coming to work just now? By the way, it's like noon.
I was working in the morning.
All right.
I also went to Euro Selected in Richmond. They're the guys that I do all my work with on my cars. We went to get my girl Brittany, that's my car's name, some new shoes. Got some new Michelin Pilot Sports 4S's. My brother got these for me, so shout out to my brother. He doesn't even watch these videos, I don't think. So do you like the way the car looks better? Do you think they're worse? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that, let's move into the Q&A. What's the number one thing you do to help manage your diabetes? How would I say this? Probably make it as easy or frictionless as possible to test my blood sugars at all time and to take my insulin. I keep this with me in a fanny pack. I'm sure you guys have seen. Ugh. This is the bag. I keep all sorts of supplies in here, insulin and spare needles, and I keep sugars in here and all sorts of other things just so that I have everything on hand at any time to be able to care for myself as best as possible. The other thing that I do is I walk a lot, I'm physically active, and I try to cook as many of my meals at home as I can. That way I can control as best as I can. Shout out HelloFresh, use code HelloEdin1 to save yourself some dollar bills, because that's what I use, and honestly, it's been a life changer so far because I just don't have time to go grocery shopping anymore. I don't even have time to like wipe my butt. Can you cut and bulk as a diabetic? You absolutely can. And this is something that I every single year kind of go through and highlight in my stories on my Instagram. So if you're not following me already, make sure you guys go to my Instagram and hit that follow button at Evidence Nutrition. If you've been there, you understand. So you're cutting the amount of total calories you consume. Yes, that means you have to cut the amount of carbohydrates you consume, but no, it does not mean you need, like, it is impossible as a diabetic. It's more than possible. The one downfall is, let's say you are near your calories, like let's say you have to hit 2,000 calories for the day, and then you have a low blood sugar at the end of the day, which happens to me a fair amount. Well, you have to take, you have two options: either die, which please don't take that option, or two, eat the sugar and go slightly over your calories. At the end of the day, I think you need to have a more long-term approach to that, and that's something that I definitely developed over time. You practice it. On the first cut, it might be hard. Second cut might get a little bit easier, and so on and so forth. It gets a little bit easier as you go, but understanding that yes, those 90 calories, that even if it happens every night, sure, you're going 90 calories more, the cut will just take longer, but it's not impossible. And then you also, with that, get a little bit better at understanding your body and how much it truly needs, and if your amount of insulin that you have to take changes over time. For example, when I'm in a cut, I'm moving more and I'm more insulin sensitive, so I don't need to take as much insulin when I'm cutting. So those are just things to consider. Definitely not like you must do this as you cut, and that's as you cut. And as you bulk, same thing really. You just need to take more insulin and be okay with the fact that you'll probably spend a little bit more time on the high side, and just try to prepare for that as best as you can, because being high and being low sucks. It just is what it is. It's like some people need to win a race, but they have a budget on their car, or they want to do well in a marathon, but they can't afford the best shoes. Same idea. You need to do what you need to do, but your pancreas is not going to be 100% with you. Can diabetics take creatine? Doctor says no. I don't know why your doctor would say no. There's no metabolic pathway by which being diabetic would impact your creatine consumption and or requirements. You should definitely be taking creatine if you want to be building more muscle. Any doctor that says this, I would love to have a conversation with them. I would love it if they see this video, reach out to me and connect me with your doctor. I'm dead serious. I would love to have a conversation and truly, like, genuinely want to know, why do they say this? And I've made multiple series around creatine on, I think I even made a video on YouTube, but I made a series on TikTok. You can go check that out at Evidence Nutrition. It's an entire playlist called creatine. But yes, it just helps you have more energy, recover better, faster, that kind of thing. Can you share your daily routine, please? Well, I am doing that a little bit with today. I typically do start the morning with a lot of work. I like to book meetings and calls and things right off the jump, because it gets my head in the all right, time to work kind of space. Otherwise, I'll dilly-dally and just waste 4 or 5 hours. Whereas if I have a call or something like that, even if I'm not 100% into it, at least warm myself up. Like, it helps wake me up a little bit faster, because I don't even like to have coffee, and coffee does not help me kind of wake my brain up, if you will. What's one of the best foods to eat while cutting? Great question, and I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt, because you guys know there's no good or bad foods and there's no one food for anything. But I would say my go-tos when I'm cutting is making sure I have plenty of fruit, specifically watermelon, because it helps to hydrate you. I'd add a little bit of salt to that, or you can even add some like feta or something like that, because it'll help hydrate you. And 2, it's very low in calories. So sticking to low calorie fruits and vegetables. You can see my entire series on both Instagram and TikTok for 100 calorie challenges, where I highlight how many calories, or what 100 calories of different portions of food look like. What an 100 calorie portion of different foods looks like. So those are both on my Instagram and my TikTok. My favorites when cutting are watermelon, carrots, snow peas, broccoli, sure. Any fruits and veggies really, but watermelon is my big one on the fruit. My favorite like vehicle of food is sandwiches. You take that like 250 to 300 calories worth of bread, and you can add anything to it. Mustard is 0 calories, perfect little flavor starter. You can add like a whole bunch of turkey. I don't care to add a crap ton of cheese, so you add like 1 slice of cheese, which is like 100 calories. We'll keep the math simple here. 300 calories of bread, 100 calories of cheese, 0 calories from the spread, which is mustard, which has plenty of flavor. So now we are at 400 calories. It would be very challenging for me to add 100 calories of veggies. So let's say I add 50 calories. That's 450, and that's a lot of veggies. That's me adding a ton of lettuce, a ton of cucumber, tons of stuff, right? This thing is gonna be super dense. Then I can add about 200 calories worth of turkey, and that'll be a lot of protein, that'll be a lot of turkey, and that will only be 650 calories, and that thing will be dense. That's why I love sandwiches. They're a perfect way, especially at lunchtime, to keep the hunger at bay. I'm really only eating later lunch and dinner, and then maybe a few like protein-rich snacks at the end of the day, just to kind of keep my protein up. I might also have a protein bar here or there. Are there dangers associated with lifting with diabetes? I mean, don't drop the weight on you. I mean, yeah, like, you know, don't get hit by a car on your way into the building. No, I think people put these like limitations on themselves. I have 0 limitations on myself, really. I mean, there are things that I need to be cognizant of for sure, and I really do respect the fact that 90% of these questions I feel like are going to be diabetes related, and that's okay. Diabetes does not limit me in the traditional sense, the way you would think. What diabetes does do is make me more cognizant of my blood sugars. For example, if I start trending low, I will not be able to be as strong. It's kind of like when you're low is like when you're drunk, but you can't control yourself level of drunk. So if you've been there in that moment, not that I condone drinking, but having a low blood sugar is kind of like what Eminem described. Your knees are weak, your arms are heavy, minus the vomit on your sweater already, but you could have some mom's spaghetti. Being low is very tough. You're super shaky, you are not there mentally, you get brain fog, you start to fumble your words. So yeah, being low can make things challenging, but you just have some carbs and either sit down or just slow down for a little bit. It's kind of like being forced to budget because you gave your child a credit card too early and you don't know whether or not they're gonna spend or not. So you kind of just have to keep an eye on the credit card, you know? That's like my pancreas. I just gotta keep an eye on it, make sure it's not doing anything stupid. Sometimes it chooses to do something stupid, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time, it's pretty responsible. Except all of the time, it doesn't administer insulin. Or in the other analogy's case, all of the time, it has no income. Your child is spare parts. Anyway, moving on. What's better, sugar-free sweeteners or sugar sweetener for coffee? Well, if you look at the literature in terms of fat loss or type 2 diabetes prevention, I would say sugar-free because it's less sugar and they're completely safe. Unless you are consuming it by the boatload, and again, to consume an unsafe amount would be quite challenging. Yeah, I would say sugar-free sweeteners. But if you prefer sugar, then sugar. It really is personal preference. I'm not gonna tell you how to drink your coffee, but I will say that in your coffee is an easy way to save on a lot of calories throughout the day. Most of the people I've talked to recently drink between 3 and 5 coffees. So if you have 100 calories of extra calories in your coffee, that's up to 500 calories every single day of just liquid.
Don't drink your calories, fam.
2 in a row that are not diabetes related. Fun. So, do you feel successful in life? And if so, how long do you think it took to get there? In many ways, I do think I'm very successful, but I feel like I'm not there where I want to be yet. I definitely want to grow these brands, and most notably Evidence Nutrition, a lot more, and I want to work on other brands and growing them more. And there are certain things in my life that I want to do that I'm not keen to share until I do it. Work in silence and let the work speak for itself, hopefully. How long did it take me to get here? I will say, as far as social media is concerned, I've definitely hit a point where I realized, wow, I did so much more in social media than I thought I ever would. And it took me 4 years to get here. 4 years of grinding, and I tell you, I grind every single day. I think in those 4 years, I took like 2 weeks off in total from like thinking about social media, you know, where I had a little bit of a burnout, and then I kind of just reviewed, that was probably 2 years ago, where I reviewed how I was doing things and how I could improve upon it. Recently, I had a little bit of a surgence up in followers. Shout out, we hit 10K on IG, but I don't think it's a success by any measurement. You know, the reason why I started Evidence Nutrition is to have a little bit of a platform to help educate people, right? I always wanted nutrition information to be, one, evidence-based, and two, accessible. So I want to be that guy that can help you find the information. If I don't have it, I want to be the one that helps you find it and make it free. So that was always kind of something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to provide people with entertainment. I do enjoy entertaining people. I enjoy having a laugh. I enjoy working out, and this was my way of kind of blending all three of those things together. I was diagnosed with diabetes around 4 years ago. I was wondering, could you recommend a supplement for muscle growth for me? To answer your question, no. There is no way to out-train a bad diet, and there is no way to build muscle without training. So you need all three of those things to work hand in hand. Supplementation is just to kind of help you achieve the good fitness and good nutrition. Think about supplements as just like a kick in the pants to help fitness and help nutrition. So protein, for example, you don't need protein powder. In fact, I consume it only 1 to 2 times, maybe 3 times a week on a bad week. And I say a bad week, just on a lazy week. But if I'm eating well and having like large meals, which sometimes I don't have the time to do, I don't need to take protein. But if I don't have the time and I'm rushing, I can very quickly make myself some like protein oats, or I can even just make myself protein ice cream, which you guys have thankfully grown very fond of on social media. But the protein ice cream is another great way that I get it in. Again, you don't have to use supplements at all. The only one that I would recommend if you're trying to build muscle is probably creatine. Again, in theory, you could do it without a supplement as well, but it is significantly cheaper and more convenient to use a supplement for creatine. That is the one supplement that I would actually say you should probably invest in. It's also the cheapest one. Otherwise, if you're taking anything like multivitamins, probably useless for you, but if you're taking something like a magnesium or something like that, make sure that it's something you do need. And if you're training in warm climates, maybe consuming some electrolytes as well might be helpful for you, but it really depends on who you are, how much you sweat, where you live, how much you're training, like what your blood sugar management looks like, you know, all of these kind of things. But there are no diabetic weight gain hacks or just any weight gain hacks in terms of supplements. There's no pill that you can swallow to make it all better. Thank you so much for the question. Will you ever open an OnlyFans? It doesn't have to be full or explicit content. It can be implied content too. Take our money already. Let's put it this way. I've said this many times on social media. While I appreciate the fact that you think I'm attractive and or want to see pictures of my feet, thank you, I guess. The bigger message that shows is product you're giving me is sick, but I think you should be naked for me to accept it. And you know, for many reasons, I don't find that attractive or appealing to me. And trust me, the amount of messages I get about this on social media is quite a few. I probably could have made a solid amount of money now, but you know, what will my family think? What will my partner think? These are all things you have to ask yourself when you continuously badger someone in their DMs about this. It just doesn't fill my cup, okay? So I don't get enjoyment out of it. I would feel bad about myself if I did that. I want to provide people with value, and I want to feel like I am making an impact or making a difference. To me, that doesn't really achieve the goals that I've set out to do. So I need to manage my assets. So I have a finite amount of energy and a finite amount of ability to create content, and that is not a certain type of content that I would create. I would much rather spend the energy and time to create this content where I'm communicating with you guys on YouTube, or hop on a live on TikTok where you guys can enjoy that for free. Okay, and the rest of them were anonymously disgusting. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I want you guys to make sure you smash that like button, hit the follow if you are new. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys want to see next if you enjoyed this rather informal vlog style / Q&A. I do have to get my butt moving. I gotta go to an RMT appointment because I hurt my shoulder last week, so really trying to let that recover. I am still working out, but I'm just being very vigilant, dropping my weights a little bit. Hopefully that can help reduce the tension in my shoulders so that I can work through and around the pain as best as possible. That said, I hope you guys have yourselves a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.